guys, time for some bench tops. Now these ones here, got this from Bunnings. This is a brand called Spec-Rite, and this colour is beach. Now we've actually used this exact same one before in a house, and they're quite nice. They're laminated really well, and once you lacquer them up, they're really good looking. So they are heavier than what was on here before, because what they had before was just 12mm ply with a veneer over the top, or a laminate over the top. So I'm going to try to figure out how I can make this as light. Obviously we'll lose a lot of weight by cutting out the sink and everything, but yeah, I want to really keep it down so we're not adding more weight than what was already in here. So I might end up routering a lot of the back out, something like that. But anyway, I think they look pretty good, and they're, yeah, like I said, quite good quality. So I'm going to get this all lined up. I'm not going to cut it the way it was before. It had a couple of angles and squares. I'm just going to bang, do an angle straight over. That's why I brought it in and sat it down, so I can just figure out exactly how everything's going to go before I take it out there and start chopping it up. So this bench top is about 6 kilos heavier than the original one. I'm going to run with that. I'm not going to bother routering out all the back. One, because of how much work it'll be, and two, this will just give it a little bit more strength. So I'm going to go for it. So I'll give this a little sand up now, tidy up, and then we'll get it into the van and glue it down, and then start getting a coat of lacquer on it. All right, take a look at this, guys. Bench top on, and then we've also replace these little ones because they were the same, the blue color as well, either side of the bed. And then if we come down to the toilet, oh, we've just chucked one on there too. Now they are quite light at the moment. They will darken up because I'm going to slap on a coat of this stuff. What did I buy? Cabot's Cabothane Clear. So I've used this stuff before. So 2 coats of it, I believe, and it does actually darken it up a fair bit. So I think it looks a little bit out of place at the moment, being so light, and obviously no doors on still throws you off. So anyway, we'll get this clear coat on, get that done, then I can get the sink back in, the oven back in, and then start sealing up this area as well. So do a nice bit of white silicone around there and up the corner. Then I've just got to trim the top and put the cupboards on. And then we're looking like a proper caravan. Oh, and the bed. But anyway, let's start getting all that stuff done. Okay, let's talk cupboard handles. So I've just popped a couple of handles on. Now, the handles have been a problem for us for a while now because the style of door, it doesn't have much meat to be able to put a handle on by the time you allow for how much actual timber is underneath it, how much coverage you have. So this is actually our 3rd set of handles. I bought 1 set, they came, I don't even know how they worked, but they were the wrong color. They just looked terrible. We did want to go black, but anyway, we'll get to that. I then returned those, they were fine. I ordered some plain round ones, but they wouldn't work either because I had to have them right up in here to get them to work, and that's only the 3mm ply, so it just wasn't going to grab, it was just going to tear them out. Now I should say I wanted fully latching, like something that won't pop open. We're going to be doing corrugations, and the handles that were already on here were just your standard handle with a push in holder. I don't know what they're called, but they, if something hit it, they would just fly straight open and we'd lose everything, especially over the kitchen and overhead cupboards here. They would have been real bad for it. So anyway, I returned those ones after they didn't work, both purchased through eBay, I should say. Now the reason I did purchase all those through eBay is because if you go to an RV/caravan supplier, handles like this are very expensive. You're probably looking between $20 to $30 per handle. So we've got 39 cupboard doors in and drawers in this caravan, and it was just going to cost way too much. So ended up finding these ones, and I thought, you beauty, they'll just work. I worked out all my measurements, but once I installed them, have a look at this one. Once it pushes in, that button doesn't come back out. Close it, it won't latch. So Erin was basically like, oh, we've got to return these ones too, but this was sort of our last resort. There's no other handle that I could find for a decent price that was going to work. So anyway, put my thinking hat on, and what I figured out is, just being a cheap build, they're actually grabbing around there and it's not letting the button come back out. I thought at first it may have been because it's not fully sitting on a flush surface, but it's not, because I got another bit of timber the same thickness and I actually put it on there flush and it still did the same thing. So got out the die grinder and I ended up just giving this section under here just a little tickle. Just took a couple of mil off it and we end up with this. Works absolutely perfectly. So I'm absolutely stoked with that. Now you can see, like I said, they don't sit perfectly. Ideally they're for a flush surface door like you see on all modern caravans, and that whole surface will be sitting on a flush area. But you know what? I'm happy with them. If they all end up working like that, I'll be absolutely stoked. So I think these ones, they were quite cheap. They ended up costing us, I think, 150 bucks for the whole lot. So yeah, I was always going to make these work. Anyway, that's good. Now I can get all these cupboard doors on and make this thing look like a real caravan. I've messed up. I was drilling my hole in this mirrored door. Oh God, that's hard to see. But I've just nicked the corner of the mirror and it's just cracked across. So that's one of the bedside ones. I was just talking before about those handles and having an issue with lining them up, and I had to move this one over because I knew I was gonna be close to the glass or the mirror, but I didn't go far enough. So now I'm gonna replace that. I don't think I'll get another mirror. I think I'll just go get some more ply and do it like I did those ones on the overheads of the kitchen, and just, that'll save a little bit of weight too because the mirror is quite heavy. And then we'll just have mirrors down the other end of the caravan. But what do you do? The boss is home now, so I better show her this mirror that I broke.
Oh no!
So I may have had another little mishap.
Oh God. What is that?
A hole.
Why is there a hole there?
Well, you see, I accidentally drilled it.
In the wrong spot?
No. I was inside. Come inside, I'll show you. Bloody hell. So, see there?
Yeah.
That's the light power. And I was trying to drill sideways through the stud to get power up there for the Sirocco. And I just didn't quite get it. It's alright. It's not the biggest issue in the world. I'll be able to cover that. I'll just sicker that hole up and we'll put like one of those vents over it.
Okay.
Just be a fake vent. Except all of you will know it's not a real vent.
Mr. Red. Well, I'm taking this lunch back then. You don't deserve it now.
Oh. Stuff you. You can do the rest of the van.
Jokes, you can have it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to see how I've got that light that your head butting.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to run the power through here and I'm going to put the fan up here, which is actually a better spot anyway. And then underneath, I don't know, because I've got no way to run power there, but I'll figure something out. Anyway, that's our current sitch.
Hopefully I don't come back to more holes.
Well, not holes in the wrong spot anyway. Hey, while you're in here, what do you reckon? All the handles and cupboards are done?
Yeah, they look good. I wasn't sold on the silver, but it's all we could get.
Yeah, I actually like it.
Yeah.
I think it goes well with
Yeah.
everything else. Like black would have looked awesome too, like we wanted, but they're not. At the same time, we were going to swap the sink out for a black sink, so we've saved a bit of money putting that one back in. And yeah, it's all worked out. Now,
Still need to figure out something here.
Yeah,
that's
so
gonna annoy me.
if you look at these handles, sort of the design of them, you can see a bit of the back hole. So I will figure out something. I don't know what yet, but I'll also tell you. Well, first of all, I'll show you. They work really well. Like I'm pretty stoked with that. They any corrugations we go on, the doors are locked. So that's the main reason why we wanted these handles over what was already in here. But I will tell you, I'm just telling you all my stuff ups now. I did stuff up one of the handles, and it turns out it's right next to another one, so they're slightly out of line. But I'm not going to tell you which ones.
I was going to say, oh, you're not going to show
No. I'll never say which ones because then people will just point it out all the time.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's all coming together. Now, really, so I'm doing the Siroccos, putting the reading lights in. Then I've got to put the oven back in and the washing machine down there so I can put those doors back on. Still a fair bit to do. Oh, and the bed back in. Bed needs to go back in. But once that's all done, we're looking pretty good.
Unpacking, yay.
One Sirocco installed, and then over here I've got a little reading light. So I'm really happy where that Sirocco ended up. It was probably a good thing that I drilled the hole in the side of the van, if there ever is a good reason for that, because that's where I was going to install it. And if you look at that, it was just going to be so close to the kid's head. It just wasn't going to be too good. So Sirocco, 3 speeds, plus they got a timer on them. We never used the timer, to be honest. Love the Sirocco fans. Like we said, we went black this time just for a little bit of difference from last time, so we can compare them. We had the white ones. Now I also put a couple of those reading lights, one either side of our bed. Now these are, I got these ones from eBay. They are touch turn on and off, and you can touch it anywhere. And then they are hold to dim. So that's pretty cool. I really like those. Like I said, eBay, I think they're about 26 bucks each, something like that. If you're looking at a decent reading light from any like caravan supply store, you're looking at around 60 plus, I'm pretty sure. And that's because, well, they've got USBs as well. So I'm comparing them to the other ones with USB points. That's now our phone charging sorted on all the beds once I get the other one installed. So very, very happy with those. Now what we were going to do was we were going to install the Sirocco fans up here, either side on our bed. But it was going to be similar to what was going to happen down in the bunk. It was just going to be right above your head and just end up, I don't know, just blasting you. You won't, unless you had it on the lowest setting all the time. But then like you look at how close that is to where our heads would be. I don't know, I just didn't want it that close. So bit of brainstorming, we've decided we're going to install them up here. So you've got from there down to our bed, and that'll be a good distance. And then what we can also do is, because they'll be up there, you can turn them over and aim it down to the dinette area and the kitchen. So sort of 2 birds with 1 stone there. So I'll get those installed and then I'll show you how it looks after. It's all done. Fans are going, everything's working well. And then the idea, they are a little bit in the way. I mean, it's not an issue for me at my height, but if you're a tall person and you come in here, it's gonna be right in the way, but you can flick these. Hold up, let me put this down. You can just flick them right up like that. So they do tuck up nice and neat, out of the way, and then yeah, you don't have to worry. But at the same time, flick them back down, turn it around, no, like this, like that. Now we've got fan running into the kitchen, or run the other one and go to the dinette. So yeah, glad we put them there. Good result. So I've just finished installing this washing machine, and take a look at it, because it is one flash looking setup. Look at that. I tell you what, it looks like a spaceship. But anyway, really easy to install. Once I read the instructions, I thought it was going to be a bit daunting, but it was actually fine. And check this out, would you? All touch screen. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different cycles on it, all different options. It's got a heater in it, so it can do hot wash. But look at this. I can't turn it on yet because I haven't actually plumbed it in yet. I've got to go get a fitting for it. But that is one flash washing machine. So what do we got? Quick wash, 25 minutes. So that's longer than the last washing machine. The last one we had was the NCE wall mounted, and that was a 3 kilo. This is a 2.5 kilo, so slightly smaller. But that had a 15-minute wash. So it'd be interesting to see the difference in water usage between this one and that. That's half the reason why we went for this. It was actually dearer than the NCE from memory when I ordered it. I think it was about $1,000 I paid for this. But yeah, we'll see if it works as good, worse, better, who knows? Time will tell. All right, guys, so let's talk about these composite gas bottles. Now, these are from Compgas. They contacted us and said, hey, can we chuck a couple of our bottles on your van? We'd like you to try them out and see how they go. So we said, yeah, sure, no worries. 7.5 kilo bottles. So they are 1.5 kilos less than your standard 9 kilo bottle. Now, when I went down and filled these up, it was down at a BCF. It was the first time they'd seen them. They looked at them like they were an alien, but it was all good. They just charged me for the 9 kilo bottle. I have heard our Whittle Adventures, they've got the same ones, and they I think they get some kind of a credit or something. They just talk to them. I just couldn't be bothered at the time, to be honest. So I paid for the 9 kilos. So that is one thing you will run into, but they are so much lighter than the standard bottles. So what we'll do is I've got full one, and this one is about 97% full. I have had it on the van, just ran a couple of things on it, but it's pretty much full. So what we'll do is we'll chuck them on the scale and see what they come up with. Okay, so 17.2 kilos for the steel 9 kilo gas bottle. And 12.4. So that's a fairly big difference in weight when you're trying to cut down on your ball weight and just your overall weight of the van. Now the other thing is that because they are 7.5 kilos opposed to 9 kilo bottles, they're slightly narrower. So what I've had to do is I've just got a strip of rubber just with a adhesive on the back of it, and I've just run that around the ring, and that's just grabbing it nicely. So I've already put this one in, that's all good. But yeah, pretty keen to see how these go. Once we do get weighed again, it'll be interesting to see how the ball weight is affected if we do the ball weight with these on it and then chuck some steel bottles back on. There we go, all set up on the van. And if you ask me, they look a hell of a lot better than your steel bottles, especially when those steel bottles start rusting. They look very average, so I'm happy with those. Righto guys, time for an update because a lot has been happening and it is looking like a proper van now. Okay, so blinds went in. Every window has a Venetian. Now they're cheapies, they're Spotlight edition. They're like 8 to 15 bucks each. They're plastic, PVC. Look, there was blinds in here already. We like the idea of the blinds because you can open them enough that you've got privacy with them facing upwards, but still get a breeze through. The old windows on the last van, the slide up to block out window, just literally does that, blocks out any breeze. So you can leave a gap up the top, but we do like this. We couldn't do any kind of face fix sliding blind because of the way this all is. It protrudes out and you've got your handle and then your clips to lock the window in. But look, I really like the look of them. Aaron's happy with them too. They're only cheap from Spotlight, so worst case scenario, they get damaged or dirty, they're like $8 each. We just go get another one, clip it straight in. What else has been happening? Bed went in, frame went in, mattress went in. Aaron made it straight away. She just really wanted to see how it looked, and I think it looks amazing. Those doors are off because they're the ones with the mirror that I smashed. I'm just painting them up at the moment. I put some new ply in it. I did stuff up though. I used silicone to seal the new ply in. I thought I was grabbing my paintable sticker, but I didn't. I put the wrong thing. So now I'm working with like etch primers and stain blockers to try to paint over that silicone, because if you've ever tried to paint silicone, you know paint does not stick to it. TV went in. Table, okay. So what happened with the table was, you can see up the back there, I have a mounting bracket. So I'll overlay a little bit of a clip of it. I bought a different table arm to try to have like a pivoting table without spending the $500 for the telescopic table legs that you see in pretty much 90% of new vans, which is what we had in the old van. They're really good. You slide them around, they go up and down. They're great, but they're $500 for the leg. That's just not in the budget at the moment. So I got this cheapie off eBay, and it was just no good because it was coming up there and off, and there was just too much play in the table. Like, you've still got play in this, but it was way more than that. So that is just the original table leg. I've chucked that in there. Look, later on when we've got a bit more budget and we're willing to spend the money, we'll probably get a telescopic leg. But for now, that'll do. It still spins left to right. Oh, if I undo it, actually. So you can still spin it. But for now, that will do. What else? Everything's sort of pieced back in here. The sink, the oven. And then down here, oh, the bunk. So the mattresses went in. I've still got to put caps in all these. They're quite ugly as it is, but I've got the little caps to cover over those. Bunks are looking great. So I got the fans in. Got the reading lights in. I've just got to put these shelves in. Erin wants those up the end so the kids can put some books and whatnot. Washing machine, you saw me install that. I've just put all the latches on, so that all closes up now. That's all looking good. This is how close it is. So the measurements I worked off the website were not quite as accurate as I'd hoped, and this ended up hitting it. So I've had to cut it and trim that out. And look how close that is. But hey, it works, so it doesn't matter. And it all gets hidden away once you close these doors. Okay, so that's done. Bathroom, we've sealed that up. That is looking good. Put a little vanity in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's nearly done. It's looking like a proper van. So a few things to do just to tidy up a few loose ends, a bit of plumbing underneath, and we're good to go. Tell you what, absolutely stoked with it. I just think it's just looking incredible. I can't believe it. So happy. It's awesome.